Clive Barker Podcast Audio Commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign, Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 3.
Hell on Earth.
Another audio commentary for this is Hellraiser Deader, which is Hellraiser number 7. And we are just after the Miramax logo and before Dimension. So if you've got it paused right before Dimension, and then we'll do a countdown to start it up again. Rob, do you want to do the countdown?
Yeah, sure. All right. 3, 2, 1, unpause.
There we go.
There we go. So, Dimension Films again, releasing this.
I like
sequel.
that. I like that font that they use for these.
Yeah, I do too. I have to admit, I really enjoyed.
It's kind of cool.
I've always enjoyed that logo.
That little shot that we saw there was a dream sequence that we're going to see further ahead in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
No, Stan Winston production.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool that he produced this.
Yeah, Stan Winston, he also produced Wrong Turn, which is also a movie that I think 4 or 5 has Doug Bradley in it. And he's also a big makeup effects guy, and he directed Pumpkinhead.
One of my favorite horror films. Sadly, he passed away a few years ago.
I just saw Pumpkinhead because you sent it to me, Rob.
Yeah.
And I saw it again, and it's a completely different movie when you have like a 4-year-old little blonde boy.
Yeah.
That I felt really bad, and I just wanted all those dumb teenagers to get killed.
Oh, because of Joey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the little boy.
Yeah, I felt for. Of course, he shouldn't have let the kid watch the store. Let a toddler watch the store while he drove away. He should have sent the Pumpkinhead after himself.
Yeah.
So there's a dog, one of the first dogs that appears in the movie. There's going to be more dogs showing up.
Yeah, and in this movie, the dogs are always eating something on the floor. In every scene, it's like that's how they train. That's the limit of their training. Is like, we can get you to stay in one place if we've got food right there on the floor.
Just put some treats there. So
yeah.
That's Carrie Wurr. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
I think that's
it. That's the way you pronounce it, I believe.
Yeah.
She's a good actress. I've seen her in a lot of stuff. She was in the TV show Sliders,
Mm.
the movie Stuart Gordon.
Okay.
Called King of the Ants and 8-Legged Freaks. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that one. Does it have that same guy who plays a police officer in Scream?
Yes.
Okay.
David Arquette.
Yeah.
I've always wondered if actors should get hazard pay when they make them chain smoke in movies.
She may smoke already, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this would never fly. Okay, she's in a crack den or like a drug house in London, and we were assuming that she went on a bender with all these people, or at least consumed something, and now she's just taking pictures of guys like doing drug deals and stuff. That would not go well.
I think it's also funny that they're saying, look, it's England because there's a British flag on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's how they separate England from Romania in the shooting.
The radio was also saying there was a beautiful day in London.
Oh, yeah. Just to make it clear.
Hey, want to have some crack?
Yes, that was weird with the holding out the tape recorder saying I got what I needed. It's a little ham-fisted.
Right, yeah. Yeah. She didn't have to show it. I mean, it's kind of risky. They'll be like, hey, are you a reporter?
Yeah, and we're going to find out soon enough. She's walking right into her office.
Mm-hmm.
This character is, I felt like, this whole opening scene feels like another movie,
Yeah,
it does not feel like a Hellraiser film at all.
And that's also ham-fisted, making her look at her own, I don't know.
Her own article.
J. Tunnicliffe right there.
Yes, yeah.
He had a small role.
he's gonna hit on her.
Again, this is a Rick Boda movie. I think it was his second one. Special
Yeah,
effects is Jameson Gouet again. Neo Art and Logic.
I was thinking it would have been. Why didn't if he had the opportunity, Rick Boda should have made a trilogy.
Sure,
You
why
know,
not?
Like,
he got 3 movies. He could have made 3 movies that were interconnected.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, there was one of the writers from Hellraiser wanted to pick up the story from that, with Kirsty, but they wanted to go in a different direction. So
Ah.
I guess that would have been too much work. It was just easier to get some existing scripts and adapt them.
yeah.
There's Gary J. Tunnicliffe, who's directing and writing Hellraiser Judgment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and responsible, and he wrote Hellraiser Revelations.
That's true. Shot it in like a month or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
three-figure budget. I think.
it seems like he sees these as opportunities to do something, good and like, now's my time to shine, but the Weinstein Company just sees it as like, oh, we got to make some crap so that we can hold on to the rights to this character that we like.
So
Yeah,
we got Neil Marshall Stevens and Tim Day as writers, and of course this started out being a Neil Marshall Stevens script.
So is Tim Day is the rewriter?
Yeah.
yeah.
And one of the things I think is weird is that the secretary just lifted up the phone and said, hey, it's Amy Klein to see you. And then she goes in, and the guy pretends like he's guessing. Oh, I can smell the patchouli oil and cigarette smoke that indicates Amy Klein is in the room. It's like, your secretary just told you she's coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she looks at that picture every single time she comes in.
Yep.
She looks at that picture of herself.
Exposition.
I didn't pick up on that. She does.
Yeah.
This movie starts out with a lot of dialogue, but then once this starts hitting like cruise velocity, it kind of starts being more visual than relying on dialogue. There's a lot of long stretches of no dialogue at all, which I think we're going to have to fill somehow.
Yeah, and another weird thing about it is it, unlike the previous movies where it's like, oh, there's some weird stuff happening because you're in hell, or there's some weird stuff happening because you're hallucinating or whatever. This movie doesn't really have an explanation.
Yeah,
That's why there's some stuff happened that she hallucinates or whatever that's not real.
Yeah, it was.
it's like she's falling under the spell of the debtors.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's kind of weird. The original script is even weirder than this. There's like some scenes where instead of her seeing like Cenobites and stuff, she goes into this white dimension that there's a guy with a butcher knife and an apron. It's weird. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we can put in a link to the original script on the show notes. So here we are seeing some VHS, which is really very strangely edited for someone who just had one camcorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they kept on. They would do one shot and then pause, and then start another shot and then pause.
Yeah, it looks like there must have been like 2 or 3 cameras rolling at the same time and then edited together. It's not just Marla, but I think this
That's
is what
true.
they're trying to
'Cause
show.
you heard her voice before she was on cam, before she was in the shot,
Yeah,
and it just carried over. Which you'd think people would think about when they're filming this stuff. It's like, hey, this shouldn't be edited. Why am I editing this right now?
Also, I thought it was funny that the Charles, her publisher or editor, said, "Hey, Amy, you're an expert in skankology."
Yeah, he's a weird character because he's sort of sympathetic at the beginning, but you kind of find out that he's really not. That he's kind of almost like a Mephistopheles sort of a.
I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
He kind of draws her into this.
You're right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's not really. There's the motivation for him to, it's like he doesn't feel any remorse that she died, and he tries to get somebody else to replace it. When we'll talk about that, I guess, at the end. But
yeah,
that's a good point.
One of the things I think is weird is this line that appears profound and deep, but when you think about it, I don't agree that it's profound or deep. It's when he says, Winter says, he asks the girl, "Are you afraid?" And she says yes. And then he says, "Good. Fear is the place we go to learn." And I'm like, I don't think anybody can learn anything while they're scared.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
fear
it's
is
kinda like
irrational.
dread, I guess.
You know,
Yeah.
fear makes you irrational. It doesn't teach you much. It's more like an instinct thing, a response.
Yeah.
I have to admit, when I first saw this scene, I was kind of bothered by it. You know,
Oh, sure, it's very creepy.
The idea of someone blowing their head off is always
Yeah.
troublesome. The idea of suicide, because it's
What-
very personal.
Why couldn't they take poison also? I mean, why would, if you're going to be a deader, why would you want these holes in the sides of your head?
Maybe it's kind of a proof
Yeah, that's a good
of
point, but
of like faith or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always was the gun supposed to be like a different version of the box to like enter a different world? You know, I mean, obviously it's not a box, but I mean, I'm just saying maybe a different.
Yeah.
Well, I would say definitely the act of suicide is, in this case, their ritual. It's the
Yeah. Well,
it's part of the ritual of bringing someone back.
And we find out later that the puzzle box is sitting on like an end table, and the power is going into them from when they kill themselves. Or it's really weird and not explained very well, and it's kind of a cheat because it's not in this video at all.
Mm-hmm.
That the crow actually there, if I'm not mistaken, I looked it up, and it's the same crow that was used in the Crow movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You mean the shot?
No, not the shot, just the bird.
Oh, the actual bird. Okay.
There's
How
an
old
actual.
how old do they live?
I think crows can live to be like 60 or 70 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a particular crow that I know, because this is a Dimension film, and the crow was produced by, I think, Dimension.
Well, and the crow was actually a raven.
I don't know the difference between those.
Oh, ravens are like twice the size of a crow.
Okay, got it. But you were saying, Rob?
We have ravens in Fairbanks, but we don't have crows.
So, Rob, you were saying that this was produced by Dimension, so they got the same crow.
Yeah, I'm thinking, but they've used the trainer, the bird trainer, before in other films that had crows. Like I think the Prophecy had used the bird before.
Also, Prophecy is connected to Hellraiser.
Is there a short film somebody made? Yeah, it's called the Prophecy and Hellraiser. It was like a fan film that was made.
Yeah.
Oh, by Jonathan Q.
Yeah.
But I think
never seen it.
Saying there was a Prophecy movie being filmed at the same time as this and Hellworld.
There were two Prophecy movies being shot at the same time. I think they were shooting like 4 or 5 movies in Romania at this time.
Dracula, we're filming Dracula 2000 sequels.
And Doug Bradley is in one of those Prophecy films as well.
So was this the lead actress. She's in both.
Yeah, he's like, sure, I've only got 5 minutes in this other movie. I'll do it.
Yeah, like Rob was saying, the actress who plays Marla in this movie, she's also in one of the Prophecy films.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's got to be the one that they filmed here at the same time, you would think.
Oh, the actress who plays Marla, she showed up on the Doug Bradley forums once, and she left a message for Doug saying, "Hey, it's me, just stopping by to say hi."
Did they? I wonder. Well, I guess they were in that shot together at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all? I think the score in this one was a little bit better than the last two.
Yeah.
It didn't feel so TV.
Yeah.
Sure.
TV vibe.
Yeah, actually, that
movie of the week.
I think this movie is actually filmed really well, and I like the gritty look of it and everything.
Yeah, I think Boda was allowed to get more into his visual style that he wanted to use in Hellseeker, but they didn't allow him to, because he wanted a lot of nudity in Hellseeker mixed in with like that Clive Barker kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
And if you watch this movie, that train.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that kind of essence.
They crammed all of it into
subculture.
Yeah.
I also have the film score for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the complete film score. It's by Henning Lohner, and he, he's made stuff for like Broken Arrow, The Thin Red Line, Gladiator, He did some additional composing on The Ring and Spanglish. Spanglish got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Original Score. He scored over 40 feature films. That's probably why you feel like the score in this movie is a little better.
Yeah. Also, Hellseeker was really the lighting in that was really green, and this one seems more like a lot of brown and yellow and.
Yeah.
Yeah. The photography was by Vivi Dragan Vasile. And I think that the photography in this movie is actually pretty good. I think he also did the photography for Hellworld, although I'm not sure. So here we are in Romania. Hey, Amsterdam is so 90s, right? Now the kids go to Romania.
Yeah, sure they do.
I think that I read an interview years ago where they said that they shot some things. I think it was for Hellworld, not Deader, but that there was these giant presidential palaces that belonged to I forgot the name of the former dictator. Was it Ceausescu or something? Anyway, there were these giant presidential palaces that now are turned into hotels and stuff, and so they were. I think it was Doug Bradley or Gary Tunnicliffe that was talking about that.
Oh, is that what this is?
Well, not this part, no. I think it was more like in Hellworld.
Oh, I see.
So here's Amy Klein going to check the address on the back of the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
Well shot scene. I like the claustrophobia of it.
And the landlord is a little much.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot the guy. She talks to him because he lets her in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another dog eating something off the floor.
Yep.
And, I didn't pick up on the dogs at all.
Like, what?
I didn't pick up on the fact that they're eating something in every shot, like you said. I didn't pick up on that until you said so.
There's got to be a reason why they did that. I wonder why they had
I think it's the way they wrangle the dogs to be in the scene.
It's like by the time they probably get the camera set up, they're gone. So like, just
I
put
see.
Food on the floor.
Well, they were giving them treats.
Yeah, they're probably not really trained animals. They're just somebody's dog.
It is, to say the least, strange that someone's apartment starts to stink really bad and bugs come out under the door, but nobody decides to go in and see what's going on.
And then she says, "Why does it smell this bad or something?" And he's like, "What? I don't smell anything."
Yep.
He's got the cigar. He's kind of like that, the token fat,
greasy
landowner. The greasy landlord that you see in a lot of films.
Yeah.
Like the guy from Terminator when
Yeah.
Hey buddy, you got a dead cat in there?
Yeah.
And
I had heard that a lot of the extras in this movie, that Romanians that had speaking parts, they just learned their lines phonetically and they had no idea what they were saying.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yep. So
interesting. That's interesting.
Here's a really creepy part.
So those lines he was saying, he didn't have any idea what that meant?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I've heard that said from about Bela Lugosi when he was starting his career in the U.S. that a lot of the movies that he did in the beginning, he learned his lines phonetically.
Oh wow, that would be so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird. I've never really, to be honest, heard of that.
Maybe that would explain why he would deliver some lines in a strange way, like he would give more emphasis to a certain word in the phrase, and it sounds kind of off. Maybe that's because he was delivering them phonetically. Not in Dracula, because at the time, I guess he already knew English, but yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting that this scene kind of reminds me of the beginning of Hellraiser when
the dirty dishes.
Yeah, Julia and Larry go.
Food.
Yeah, probably not by accident. And that knife is the same knife that's going to come back later, right?
Yeah, I just picked up on that. Hey, that bed looks like Frank's bed from Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
It's got the little tent of sheets.
Yeah.
I never saw anybody do that. I mean, I don't know anybody who puts a blanket over the headboard.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. There she is.
This is kind of a gross scene.
Oh, yeah.
there. I was just reading, Rob, the notes that you had put on here about in interviews, and the writer of the original Deader script, didn't like all the jump scares that they put in this.
Yeah.
Which is, there's one coming up here. Of course, everybody knows if you're trying to sneak past a corpse or trying to squeeze past it, it's going to jump out at you somehow.
Of course,
the introduction of the box here feels. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, of course, I've never like had to sneak around a corpse, although I've been to plenty of funerals.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering, if I saw a corpse, I would not feel the need to sneak around it.
Yeah.
Probably I would just, But in this case, I guess you can chalk it up to the fact that she's smelling like rotting flesh, and she doesn't want to get too close to it.
Yeah, it's just gross.
Go ahead, Rob.
You'll see the box that's going to be introduced here in a second. I don't know if it's just me, but it just feels like it's just there. It just,
Oh, it's totally shoehorned.
And what I mean by that is, like, it feels like, and what I thought about was, like, it feels like she just bought a version of the NECA box. It just she was messing with it, and it's just there. I mean, totally shoehorned in there. And
Yeah, well, and the Cenobites too. And in fact, the other Cenobites don't do anything in this. I mean, they're barely in the background, and you don't even see them, hardly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they even cut one of them out of the film at the end.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
I do think that Carrie Wurr did a good job in this one. She's a really good actress.
Yeah,
she's
really good.
definitely the best part of this movie.
I had seen her in other movies, but only as a supporting actress or like secondary roles. And in this one, it was the first movie that I've seen where she actually is the protagonist.
Like I said, if she had shot the way it was originally planned, or the way the writer wanted it to be done, I think it would have been a really standout role for her.
Sure, yeah.
Standout performance,
Yeah.
Because the Hellraiser stuff kind of just kills all of it.
Oh yeah, yeah, which is weird to think about, but it's like it's kind of lame when Hellraiser is it put in as an afterthought, just to hold on to the rights of something.
Yeah,
and people will, just like they did with Hellraiser Revelations, when Judgment comes out, people will be like, oh, finally another Hellraiser movie that's written to be a Hellraiser movie. It's like,
Marla is a little bit of an unclear character in this movie, especially if you look at the original script, the original story that was not Hellraiser. Judging from what this movie gives us, we never really understand what it is she wants from Amy. I think that in the original script, she was a much better thought-out character who, by doubting if she was alive, could not die, and doubting if she was dead, she could not live either. So all she wanted was Amy's help.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Winter would bring these people back after they were dead, but it's like it's weird. You have to read the script, the original one. Because I've read it, but it was ages ago, so I didn't read it for this one.
Ron, you've got the DVD. Does it have any deleted scenes on the?
No, this DVD, it just has chapters and that's it.
Because I was curious if the original script had, you were talking that this character was more fleshed out. I was wondering if the movie had deleted scenes. I remember having the DVD, but I don't remember it having.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
I remember there being a commentary. See, that's.
Well, and the one I have doesn't have a commentary, but I just listened to the Hellraiser podcast. They just did a Deader commentary, and they were talking about stuff. They were quoting stuff off of the commentary. So at least the European one has that, or maybe there's a better DVD than what I have.
You know what I hate about some DVDs? It's the fact that they put in the little extra box, say extra chapters trailer, and it's like that's not extras.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they put some filmography information about some of the director and stuff, and it's usually just a couple of screens. Yeah.
Universal used to do that all the time with their DVDs.
Uh-huh.
Well, on Laserdiscs, there were Laserdiscs sometimes that didn't have any chapters. They would just go, and then when they added chapters later, that was a special feature.
Hey, because when you see like a zombie come back to life, you just go back to your hotel and get drunk.
Yeah.
So in the original script, Marla sends Amy the tape as a cry for help. She finds Winter as she finds the debtors. Winter sees her and wants her to join them. That's it. And here there's a strange kind of agenda, including Winter and Amy, that we never quite understand why. Why is she chosen, And is Marla's cry for help just a coy to get her attention?
And it's not really clear that she was chosen in this movie, except that people tell her that she was.
Yeah.
Because the tape, she didn't get the tape first, her editor did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but everybody talks about how they chose her.
So again, here's another tape.
Yeah.
It's a cool, sexy shot of Amy Klein there.
Yeah, nice legs.
And
yeah, because you're dead. This reminds me of that movie. I forgot the title. Geez, the movie where there's this military stuff that escapes and brings back people from the dead, and then there's this guy in God, it's like The Evil Dead or something, or Return of the Living Dead.
oh,
The one where
that's Return of the Living.
Right, where these two guys get a bag of like a reanimated corpse, and they take it to some guy who has a crematorium, and they say that there's
that's Return of the Living Dead. Yeah. That's,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
got
it.
it.
Right.
Because I forgot what the American title was for that. Yeah. But anyway, it reminds me of the part where the two guys, the old guy and the young guy, are dead, and then they start feeling like their bodies are tensing up, and they start feeling all the pain of being dead. And this is kind of what Marla's complaining about in this video. She says, my eyes are starting to hurt. I'm not feeling well.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like this first half of the movie is more like the original script, and she really wants help. And then later on, it's like, oh no, we just wanted you to come here.
Yeah.
And she's like she was in on the trick or whatever with Winter, and I don't know.
Well, that's what we
Probably
get from a Hellraiser movie rewritten after another script.
Yeah.
As good a work as Tim Day might have done, there are still many loose ends everywhere.
Yeah.
I personally don't think Tim Day would have chosen to do the shoehorning of the Hellraiser into another script. He wanted to continue the story from Kirsty, but
yeah,
it said they were not into that idea.
Oh, here comes a cool shot.
They already paid for that script, so they might as well use it.
Yeah.
So
I don't like these chains.
They're huge. Why are they so huge?
They look like
Bonk.
arms and.
Yeah.
If you pause it at the right frame, actually, when they pull Amy towards the box and make her headbutt it, it's like her face kind of clips into the box for a little bit.
Oh wow.
I think this scene is very unsettling, though. Even though the chains are huge, I agree.
Well, and also it's weird because that was all just a hallucination or something. And
what did Pinhead say? He had a line there. Did he say?
He
something?
said, "Don't think for a moment you're not in danger," which it's kind of a redundant thing to say. It's like she knows she's in danger.
That's what I'm talking about. Pinhead came to say these like lines that what happened to the poetry of
well, for a moment that you're not in danger. It's like I've got chains hooked into the back of my head.
Look,
of course I'm in danger. Why would I think otherwise?
Look, even if they just brought back some classic line like I have such sights to show you would have been better than what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's creepy, man. That's really creepy.
Yeah.
Person with the raincoat.
Yeah.
She's like, bitch, you ain't got no shoes.
It looks like I got the impression that she was having her menstrual cycle here or something.
Oh. That could have been something, yeah. So here we are.
This train, I thought was, like I said, a cool way into a different world. But what I've liked though is what they could have done was give it the train looked like a box, the box in a way, give it some design look to it.
Yeah.
All aboard the night train, choo choo.
Yeah.
It's a party train.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is actually something that may have been a thing back then. I don't think I've ever heard about, subway train parties, but.
Oh yeah, somebody renting out a whole subway.
Yeah. I like the idea though. The idea is cool.
Yeah, that is fun.
The
Well,
set
and it's like
is
anytime she goes here, they're in there. So do they live in there?
hey, it's just
Yeah.
24/7 party people.
Yeah.
This is all the stuff he really wanted. Rick Boda wanted to do in the Hellseeker, kind of give a lot of style.
Hey, there's a
So,
kid there holding like
Yeah,
a.
no, that's we had a rose in its mouth,
Yeah, it's weird.
playing some chess.
Some weird visuals here. Some are pretty cool. Others are a little gratuitous, but you know, it's cool. It's like, hey, it's a party train.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah, I
admire
agree.
the set.
Some of it's really good. Yeah, it really is good. I like that where she's holding like a.
But some of these visuals, they seem like they're just put into the movie just for the hell of it, because those people aren't really doing anything, and there's no explanation why there would be someone just holding a picture in front of their face. Is she going to be like that all night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you're
probably
not
just
supposed to think about it too hard.
just to be weird.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with him is that he tries really hard to warn her away from Winter, and then you find out later, oh yeah,
Part of it.
he's a dead or two.
Maybe he's using reverse psychology.
Yeah.
See, I like the mannequin next over there that she's standing by. It's kind of got like a little mustache and lipstick. Its arms are cut off. Thought that was an interesting image.
Of course, more gratuitous.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
Nudity.
is. It is pretty gratuitous, I have to say.
This fucked up guru. Yeah, who is Winter? You know, I mean, I know that in this movie, I think they kind of hint at it further down in the movie that he's like related to the merchant family,
Yeah.
but it's never really explained. Like, so where does he come from? Why does he have these powers? I mean,
Yeah.
the other people we saw in Hellraiser Bloodline, they didn't seem to have any powers. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, magic powers.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
So it's kind of hard to understand exactly
Yep.
where Winter comes from, where does
Yeah.
powers come from, and what does he really want.
Yeah, there's no it's not a seamless transition from, Hellraiser to Deader.
Right.
It's a total it's just like it's a huge jagged tear. They just shoved them together.
Just got the box.
I mean, I do like the fact that,
Everybody on the train knows what that is, apparently.
I will say that I do like the fact that Tim Day, he did it. Mention the toy maker because I do like that aspect of the mythology,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't make much sense in the sense that, how is he a family member? It's just, again, Phil Shoehorn.
Yeah.
I like this line that he says, "Don't do it. Change your name. Go somewhere
Yeah.
else."
This music is sort of Twin Peaks like, I guess. This whole scene.
Hmm. And here is where we find out that she's being watched.
So everybody's afraid of the puzzle box, presumably because if she opened it, then she could lead the Cenobites to them, and then the gig is up, I guess.
I do like the photography here. It's pretty cool.
But Marla tells her, don't open the box. And that's the first thing she does.
Yeah, because in the original script, Marla was regretful of becoming a debtor.
She says, don't open the box. That's Winter wants you to, but you shouldn't, or something like that.
Very, very creepy scene. I think this is where she's going to see Winter.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He jumps.
In front of
Kind
the
of reminds
train.
me of the scene from the film Ghost.
Oh, yeah, right.
Chelsea Ghost, where the guy.
Oh yeah, that crazy ghost guy.
Yeah, that was the weirdest part of that movie, I think.
He teaches Patrick Swayze how to move things with his ghost powers. Yeah.
And actually, that's funny enough. Talking about that's the guy actor who played. What's the guy from Lord of the Illusions where you always make fun of, like, nice accent. What is it, Brooklyn? That actor.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot his name. He was big in like horror movies and stuff.
Vinovich or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, boom! There we go. Where is he? Where is Man in Tracks? I don't see him. I just want to point out that Amy is wearing still the same clothes that she had back in London. She still has the same clothes, the same leather jacket.
Yeah.
How to be a crack whore. There we go.
Why wouldn't he look? She's looking at something really that seems really important, and he's like, "I'm just gonna keep looking at your face."
Guess he thinks she's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a cat that decided to join me here.
Yeah, I heard him. I think I heard him like a purr.
Takes 3 cops to restrain
Yeah.
a woman.
She's not really putting up that big of
A fight, yeah.
yeah. They're just standing there, really. They're like,
Yeah.
they really don't know how to act.
Yeah, in 2004, I was looking around for a copy of the original screenplay of from Neil Marshall Stevens, and so I found Neil Marshall Stevens online, and I got to talk to him about it. And here's a few things that I learned. Okay, where is that?
Yeah. Now I can hear the cat.
Oh, that's not my cat now. Yeah, so in 2004, I was looking around public news groups for Google groups, and someone said, "Hey, you wanted the script? Why don't you ask Neil?" And then Neil Marshall Stevens showed up, and he said, "Well, being Neil Marshall Stevens, obviously I have access to every version of that screenplay, and believe me, there were plenty of them. Unfortunately, while I possess them all, as I've explained to others, I do not own any of them. That's what happens when you, as a screenwriter, sell your work. You sell all rights, and you'll no longer own any of them, and that includes the right to make copies of what was once your script and distribute them. The rights to Debtor, all rights for all time, throughout the universe, are the property of Dimension. They are the ones who decided to turn my script, for whatever reason, into a direct-to-video Hellraiser sequel, which still hasn't been released, because at this point it hadn't been released yet." He says, "I've read the script, but I haven't seen it. I have no idea what it's like. I don't know when it's going to be released. If I said that I was looking forward to seeing it, I would be lying.
Yeah.
As far as the screenplay is concerned, if you happen to be in the business in LA, it would be relatively easy, I imagine, to get a copy of Debtor because it was circulated rather widely as a writing sample. And copies apparently are still around. But as it happens, I don't live in LA, and I have no idea as to even begin to tell you where to look for one. That is all there is to it." So he also said something else. So apparently this is how...
Yeah. He talked about Debtor, though, quite... He didn't seem... He was on the Scarlet Box set on that interview with all the other filmmakers who made the direct-to-video movies, and he kind of talked about it, like, in a good way. I mean, he didn't seem very upset about it.
Sure. I guess this was back in 2004 before the movie came out. So, yeah. And apparently he sold this. Neil Marshall Stevens got $500,000 for Debtor from Miramax Dimension in 1999.
Yeah.
So it took a few years before they decided to develop this into a movie.
Yeah. It's better than just sitting on it and never using it for anything, I guess.
That's what Dimension films did a lot. They would buy stuff up and never do anything with it. Like they did that with a lot of movies too.
Mm-hmm.
It would make a lot of filmmakers frustrated. And then if they did release it, they, put it through the editing machine and just start making their own version of it.
There's another dog eating something off the floor.
There's two dogs. There's actually two dogs there.
Yeah. I like this shot here where with the leaves flying, the dog is going away, and she's going toward this row of old houses. Very European.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Very familiar to me.
You've been to Romania, haven't you, Joseph?
No, I've been to places like Germany and
Oh, I thought
Spain.
maybe you'd been to.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought maybe you'd been to Romania because I know
No.
you're from, come from Europe.
Yep.
Over there.
Yeah, but I haven't really visited. I had some friends who went to places like Czech Republic and stuff. It's really beautiful. Okay, this is the movie, like the part where she's going to go into the debtor's house,
Yeah.
and up until she wakes up again in another flashback, like maybe 20 minutes later. I once made a fan edit of this movie where I cut almost like 20 minutes of movie, because this part is going to have a bunch of like strange, false starts and dream sequences. When she goes through that tunnel that starts getting narrow and narrower and narrower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible. They have some. Well, let's wait till they come up, but really cheesy effects are going to be coming up soon.
Oh, you mean the bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of corny startle moments in here, like that bird.
Yeah.
It's a long way to go to get to them.
It's kind of a boring scene.
Yeah.
This basement reminds me a little bit of the labyrinth in Hellbound.
It does. I think their whole the debtor set looks like a part from the labyrinth.
Yeah. Also, the way the Cenobites are going to show up later in the movie, it's directly like lifted from the first Hellraiser with the lightnings teleporting them into the set. Yeah, that's really cool. Again, it's not that I dislike the movie that much. It's like after giving it a few years, there he is, another dog eating something off the floor. But it's
there's got to be a reason for that. I mean, I don't just to put that in there for no reason. I mean, having dogs eating things.
Maybe Rick Butter really likes dogs,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe a lot of the Romanian crew had dogs with them.
And so, like, giving a few years of rest before I watch this movie again, I kind of went at it and I was like, it's not a bad movie. It's just too bad that it was turned into a Hellraiser film, because the original script, from what I recall, was a more enjoyable standalone movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess
this
is what
is
we're stuck
long.
with.
This is long and kind of pointless. It's just to make it creepy and scary.
Yeah, there's long stretches from this point on where nothing really is happening and nobody's really saying anything, and it's
and it feels like a dream sequence, but it's but it sort of is, but it's not explained.
Yeah, it's these scenes are just kind of useless. They're filler.
Yeah, and if that were one of us and that were starting to happen, we go, okay, I'm turning around because I can't go any farther than this. I don't want to get stuck.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even fit in there.
I been through a little street like this. It's like, I think, one of the narrowest streets in the world, and it was in Venice. And Venice has
those bugs. Those are horrible, cheesy ass bugs.
Yeah, and there's a street in Venice that's well known for being super narrow, and some people can't even go through it.
Oh wow!
God, Lord, those are horrible.
There you go. It's like, okay, yeah, you're not going to be able to go through there. And also, what sort of like architecture has a two walls like that? I mean, that's weird.
Yeah.
See,
and she's pushing on the wall.
It doesn't even feel claustrophobic either. It's supposed to have this claustrophobic vibe to it, and I just don't feel that either.
And here's the first time she's pretend getting stabbed in the back.
Yeah, like from this point on, it's like 20 minutes.
Start
of dream
going into more
sequences.
dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that gets really frustrating for me in this film.
Yeah, it's filler.
Yeah.
If that guy,
I mean, that's kind of nasty. I mean, I'd hate to get. I don't like the idea of being stabbed.
yeah, especially when you're stuck there like that and you can't do anything.
Like the lighting coming out of that shaft there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like
But he could have just
they were
gone to
really
this. I mean,
excited about this location, so they just had to milk it a little too much.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, but they could have just. She could have just found this guy, gone right to that. You know, cut all that other stuff out. And
I
put it
agree.
in.
I agree. That's one of the scenes that didn't have to be there. She
They
could have
didn't
just
wanna
gone
have
down the
that-
stairs, turn
that's
around,
fine.
and see the guy. Yeah.
They didn't want to have a movie that's an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Another thing is that this movie is not that long as it comes to a full feature film. It's
Well,
88
Revelation's
minutes.
only 72 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
take
at
out the
that point,
credits.
they're not even pretending to make a good movie.
yeah.
Okay, so finally get to some more good stuff.
Yeah, now we're moving the plot along again.
Oh, how romantic.
Kind of reminds me of when Frank was sucking up the
Yeah,
life energy.
yeah, except he's not putting his fingers into his
Back of his skull.
and he's got a big knife sticking out of his chest. They didn't even pull it out.
What I'm thinking is, yeah, why is he wearing that lab coat thing?
Yeah, they make it like it's a really important part of
It's
it.
like a symbolic thing for like a godlike
Could be.
quality.
Yeah, it's kind of it's
a
like
Nyx.
Nyx. Yeah, when he puts Nyx's robe on,
Mhm.
and or like James Brown.
Ow, I feel good. That's how this guy should have woken up. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I feel good. Okay. Seems she's right on time.
Yeah. There's that knife again. Although it's really dull now.
Okay, so they all bond over being zombies. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, we came back. We're
Yeah,
immortal.
Yeah, and it's not. That's not what Marla was saying to people, right? I mean, that's not what Marla was saying in the tapes. Like she says
There's a chick
that-
with a hole in her head.
that they need help,
Right.
and that this is and that it's like he's using them.
Again, comes from the first draft of this script, and then when they added the Hellraiser stuff, some of those things got a little weird because they were saying like, oh no, they really wanted her to come and join them and open the box, but it's like, of course, the first script didn't have a box or anything. It was just Marla being like, hey, I need your help because I'm dead. I can't die. You have to come over and figure this one out.
So he says, "I chose you," which means that the whole thing with Marla was a setup.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing that they planned for her to come here because they sent the tape to her editor. And I guess they hoped that he would show it to Amy because she's like the weird rogue like journalist.
Yeah.
Gonzo journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's got the box.
And he looks really surprised about it.
I know.
It's like, well, how did she get it then?
Because that's what he's been wanting. Doesn't he want that?
It's weird because why would he want it if there's a chance that somebody could use it to bring the Cenobites over and kill all of them?
Well, okay, so from what I understood, Winter's motivation, and I guess this is really confusing, but let me see if I can put my ideas in order.
this actor. He was in if y'all have seen the Johnny Depp film. I like it a lot. From Hell.
Oh yeah. It's Paul Rees.
Yeah, he played the doctor, one of the character that.
Mm-hmm. The court doctor or whatever.
He performed lobotomies,
Mm.
but he had a good role in it.
It was one of those Mason doctors.
These direct-to-video movies have had good casts. I can't really give them. They've gotten good people for these things.
Well, this one's got good. It's good cinematography and good locations and stuff too.
So I can't.
It's just kind of a Frankenstein of a script.
Yeah. Maybe if they would have taken more time and figured out how these ideas could have worked. But let's shoot this, get it done.
So deaders are people who there's also this weird thing about if they don't believe that they're real, then they aren't dead or alive. Which is fine, but it doesn't make sense when you try to throw Hellraiser into it.
Okay, so Winter has this strange agenda, right? He chose her. And so Marla's cry for help is just a way to get her attention. And my point is, why Winter wants to open the box, but it's unclear what powers would he gain by doing it, because Pinhead further down the movie is going to say a line that is, "You've been recruited to fight in another man's war." And it's like, war? What war?
Yeah, that's never. All they ever say about that is that if they open the box, then they lose their souls to hell or whatever, and then they're sort of like these immortals.
Yeah. So even if he's a merchant, what does that have to do with anything? It's unclear. It's a very confusing character. Again, it's just because he came from another story.
Yeah, he never says anything about wanting to start a war with the Cenobites.
Mm. Oh, okay. Another wake up, and it's like.
And Amy's story, just her little flashes of her life, they don't play any. I don't, they feel like filler too in a way, because how's that keep the story moving?
Tim Day said in a board once that the reason why Amy had to confront her past was so she would have no fear when she would become a debtor, as fear would creep into doubt, like Marla, who has become an undead debtor due to doubt and fear of what she has become. But Katya, the girl who blows her brains out in the beginning, she's shivering with fear when Winter asks her, "Are you afraid?" And she replies, "Yes." And he says, "Good." So, she doesn't seem like she's very convinced at all that she's going to come back. And that doesn't stop her from becoming a debtor, no problem. So the fear angle was weird in terms of becoming a debtor. She does pull the trigger, but it's, she's so terrified. I don't think she believes she's coming back. When she does, she's kind of surprised. Oh, look, another, fake wake-up scene.
This is when I started really getting frustrated with
it's like, so right now she's not at home in her bathtub. She's and for the next, 20 minutes, she's still laying there on his table, right?
But she sees her boots that are full of mud, which means
says that was all real.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks a lot. She gives a lot in this. I think she does a great job.
Yeah, she does.
Which is kind of a shame because it's
a really good performance just in a kind of a crappy direct-to-video movie.
Yeah.
I won't say crappy. I agree with Jose. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it just gets really frustrating with the dreams and all this stuff with her life. And
so now she's having she's asleep in the middle of a dream, so she's having a dream inside of a dream right now.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's
the Amy and Dad subplot flashback stuff could just as well be gone, and the movie would be none the poorer for it. So some might argue that it might help explain why Amy's such a glutton for danger and her self-destructive spiral thing, but it doesn't cut it for me. I believe, the flashbacks are just confusing. Well, not confusing, but it's like I don't think they're necessary.
Yeah. Feels like another movie.
Yeah, and this is this scene where she discovers the knife in her is actually really well done, and it ruins it to find out later that all of this time was just some kind of weird hallucination or.
Yeah. In the original script, it was Marla who stabbed her in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Who stabbed her here? It was just. I guess
it doesn't matter.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, she does such a good job on this part.
Yeah. Oh.
There's bits of this movie that are really good, but I just don't think that they fit together very well. Yeah, this part is really messed up.
Yeah.
You're right, Ryan. She really does give it all here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very vulnerable. You know.
My friend Jonathan Q, when he made his fan film Winter's Lament, he bought some fake blood from 2 Hours in the Dark, which was Gary J. Tunnicliffe's effects company. And so he bought like a big, like 5-gallon or something jar of fake blood. And that thing is really, really sticky. You know, when you're walking around the floor with that stuff, you start hearing the linoleum like crack when you're lifting your feet off of it. You go like,
Really?
Yeah, because that stuff is made out of corn syrup.
Yeah.
So it's very sticky. It's really hard to clean.
Oh, this is hard to watch.
Yeah, and it feels so real. You know,
Yeah.
It's like she's coming to grips with being a debtor and what it's like being a debtor, which is a real betrayal when you find out later that this is all just some stupid hallucination or something.
But is she a debtor? I mean, she hasn't gone through the ritual or anything.
Yeah, it's a cheat. It's a fake out.
Yeah, it's another one of those. I would have just taken all this stuff out from the part where she's climbing down the stairs in the house until the next time she's going to wake up in bed with the debtors.
Yeah.
You know, I would have cut a lot of that stuff out.
Yeah,
and
which this is a really cool scene, and it's ruined by the fact that it's not real.
Yeah, and then Pinhead is going to show up.
Yeah.
Pinhead's calling.
Yeah, on a rotary dial phone.
Yeah.
In hell. In his little monkish cell.
It's funny. The more we watch these movies about the dream scenes we complain about. You know, Dimension always wanted the Hellraiser series to be kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street. They've kind of gotten their way, in a way. Pinhead did become, in a way, like a Freddy character. It's not. He didn't say stupid things.
So the movie Hellworld was shot back-to-back with Hellraiser Deader in Romania, and they gave both movies a really ridiculous budget. I think IMDb lists both budgets as a total sum of $10 million.
Huh?
And they were left to gather dust on a shelf for a couple of years after they were done. So they released them both in the same year, a few months apart, as Dimension was splitting at the seams. A few months later, after this release, the Weinsteins left Miramax to make the Weinstein Company. So here comes the interesting part. Harvey Weinstein was using a loophole in his contract to get a hefty bonus by keeping movies off the books until a later year, thereby raising his current budget and bonus check. The money spent on these films didn't count against him as long as he didn't release them. So he screwed Disney and the fans of these films to line his pockets.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Sounds like it's just a Weinstein.
Yeah.
And this is so weird because Pinhead is explaining to her why, you're a debtor, you don't feel pain because they did this to you. And she says, I'm dreaming. And he says, no, you're not. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Yes,
No,
yes,
you're not.
yes.
I think the Pinhead here, he brought back the elements of like the third Pinhead from from Hell on Earth in a way. I kind of felt that way.
Yeah, or like in the fourth one.
Yeah.
So just going back to what I was saying again, the deal for like Disney and Miramax tied Miramax's capital budget for acquiring and producing films to its annual performance. So the more money Miramax made in a fiscal year, the more money the Weinsteins made, and the bigger the capital budget of their Miramax division. Disney agreed to calculate Miramax profits in a fiscal year solely on the films released that year, in making what seemed like a minor concession to Weinstein so that he could use his discretion in timing the marketing of art films. Disney did not foresee how brilliantly he would game this loophole. Through it, Weinstein was able to create the illusion of profits for Miramax and the reality of huge bonus payments for himself and his brother. So how he did this, and this I'm quoting this from a Slate article that I'm going to put in the show notes. He shifted potential money-losing films into future fiscal years so that they didn't reduce either his bonus or Miramax's capital budget. It's really weird. This like gymnastics that they do with like tax and stuff. It's very strange.
Shady stuff.
Yeah.
For example, Zhang Yimou's Hero. That movie, it's a really cool movie, actually. It's had been acquired at Sundance in 2002, was held for more than 2 years so that its nearly $20 million cost would not count against the Weinstein's bonus. So they released Hero in 2004, a year that was less profitable for Miramax, in which no bonus would be paid anyway. It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and releasing 2 movies in the same year is lame.
It's just dumping them, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just dumped them. They did that at 12. They've done that to a lot of movies.
And it kind of feels like they're just like, oh yeah, these Hellraiser fans will buy, will rent anything or buy anything that's got Pinhead on it. They spend a lot of time on her having to deal with this wound that she's got.
Yeah.
And it's all for nothing because it's like there's none of this is really happening.
Again, this part I would have just taken it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the second half of this movie that you would have cut out. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, who cares about this? I mean, it's not moving the story.
Yeah.
In any way.
Just throw it all down. Boom.
He's like, I don't know what my character is or what I'm doing here.
Yeah, no, he's just walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys that were, I guess what do you call them?
See, she's back in the debtor train.
Yeah, and this scene is kind of weird too.
It's like, whoa. There's a Cenobite that's going to show up here, and the Cenobite is called Little Sister. Yeah, I was watching this with friends the first time I watched this movie, and my friends were looking at me like, this is weird.
Yeah.
He also kind of has a Billy Idol vibe to him.
Yeah.
He certainly does. Here's a weird part.
Yeah.
Something that flickers.
Pretty creepy, actually.
Yeah.
Which makes total sense when you think that this is all just another hallucination.
Yeah.
The light flickers and everyone in the train becomes dead and Joey's a rotting corpse.
Yeah.
And there's a Cenobite. Cenobite is actually back there stitching someone's throat.
Oh.
Little Sister.
That's her name?
Yeah. Good decoration.
That yeah, that bone torso is really clean.
Hey, that party train. What if someone has to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Oh yeah,
There's little sister. It's like she's doing. She's stitching her throat to be like the female Cenobite's throat.
yeah.
Here's Marla. There's one thing about this movie that I think is really good as well as the special effects and the makeup.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I always thought that. I thought Gary Tunnicliffe's company did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now Marla's kind of like, haha, I'm not really your friend.
Yeah, she's gonna do a lot of exposition.
Yeah. You are home. And by that I mean this train station. You have to live here now.
Yeah, this is the part where she says, "An hour ago I stabbed you in the heart."
What's the actress's name here? Georgina plays Marla.
I
Georgina
don't know.
Rylance? Something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She was in 7 Seconds and Pulse 2 and 3,
Ah.
which are a couple other more Dimension films.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I've never even heard. I didn't know there was a movie called Pulse or two.
Yeah, Pulse is based off a Japanese film.
Hmm. An hour ago, I didn't really stab you in the heart because we haven't even done that yet.
But she doesn't want to be a debtor. That's the whole thing. Like, Amy Klein does not want to join them.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to recruit her by force.
Yeah. You can't have any doubts. It's like, yeah, that's all she has is doubts. She just wanted to come and help her.
Right. And again, they put this whole thing about her past, and I just don't think that this past sequence, it doesn't work. I don't think it works for me. It's like they could have just taken that stuff out and it would have been fine. I mean, maybe there's some sort of connection because Amy Klein stabbed her father or whoever that person was when she was a kid, but it's like really doesn't make much of a difference in the whole story.
Yeah, and this is never verbalized anywhere, so we don't really know if that's her father or who that guy is.
Right. And then Charles is going to mention the mess she made in her hotel room. But so what mess? Is she bleed all over the place, or she doesn't seem to have any wound like transfixing her right now. So what's going on?
Yeah. And we know from seeing this movie before that none of this is even real either.
My psychotic episode.
I mean, you made a good point about this character, on that I'm seeing him different light now, by him being like the Mephistopheles kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's something off about him now I never really paid attention to before.
It's like he wants to know what's behind the mystery, but he doesn't want to be the one risking his life checking it out.
Like Chenard. Yeah, he even says
this
that.
guy was I put that in my notes. It kind of reminds me of the Chenard Institute. It's kind of, hospital. Probably just a coincidence, but still.
Hey, is that doctor wearing the same lab coat as Winter?
Kinda looks like it.
And they don't explain why they bound her arms either.
Maybe she was psychotic.
I guess.
This is weird. Everything's going backwards, or the little kid's riding backwards.
Yeah.
This scene is actually in the original script as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, with the little girl drawing the portrait, I think.
And this is another kind of part that reminds me of A Nightmare on Elm Street. a little girl, because some of those sequels, there's always a little girl painting or drawing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like what was the name of a girl from the Addams Family? Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She kind of
looks
reminds
like
me.
a Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole second act of the movie is very, very strange, very slow, very confusing. First
Yeah.
act is awesome. Third act
Yeah,
is
it
good,
is.
but it's just the
Yeah.
middle of the movie that kind of loses its way.
Yeah.
Like they were just trying to make the movie longer somehow.
Yeah.
Now, she does draw a picture of Amy here, right? That's who that is.
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
like
kinda
we needed
confused. I mean,
one.
who is it?
Like we needed one more thing to say. By the way, you're really dead. But she's not.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool picture, though.
Kind of reminds me of something like a
Jenna.
skinless side of their face. Kind of
It's
like,
it's Two-Face from Batman.
yeah, that's like
Female Two-Face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, you're messed up.
Yeah. I don't know why you think that's funny. And apparently all you need to do to get committed if you're a kid is ride your tricycle backwards.
Yeah,
They take you and the tricycle.
yeah, no.
Wait, there was a tricycle there? I kind of missed it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the kid was just riding on his tricycle backwards.
Bonk.
Yeah, was that a ghost that just got knocked out?
I guess so.
I was trying to figure out what cartoon this was.
Whatever it is, it's really good. Marla really likes it.
Yeah, she does. She's really into it.
Must be some old public domain stuff for them to put
Yeah.
it in here.
Yeah.
Like Bob Clampett cartoon or something like that. So how is Marla looking normal now?
Yeah.
Again, I know that this is just going to be another fake out, but
Yeah, right. It makes no sense. But
It's
they're
just-
explaining everything.
yep, it's
Why is she learning all this stuff?
Because they're grooming her to be a debtor.
Yeah, but she's learning all of this in a dream, so it's some kind of a spell, I guess.
Good point.
So his quest is for ultimate pleasure, so if he makes everybody a debtor, then they don't feel pain anymore. But that's not the same thing as ultimate pleasure.
Right. It seems to me like what Marla is complaining about in the tapes and other stuff is that she's not feeling anything. Like she's not alive or dead.
Yeah.
So it's kind of useless to become a debtor if all you're
Mhm.
going to do is get confused whether you're alive or dead and you can't feel anything.
Yeah. On the Hellraiser podcast commentary, they were saying that they thought that that if they did this, they could experience all the pleasure of hell, but not the pain. And I don't know. It seems like it's maybe not even thought out that well.
Or that far.
Yeah.
I just don't think Tim Day really just had time to really figure it out himself.
Yeah, it was more like how do I put Hellraiser into this?
I think if he would have had his way, he would have wrote a sequel to Hellseeker.
Yeah.
As he was probably more interested in that. He just wrote this to maybe
So-
get it paid.
So in the sequel to Hellseeker, then presumably it'd be Kirsty.
Yeah, he wanted to follow Kirsty.
Yeah. Although
Not-
Kirsty's not a
not-
very likable character after that one.
Well, he could have, made her more. He could have yeah, you're right. He could have, redeemed her in some way if they would have followed that route.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. If she really solved the box in her hotel room, then why is Pinhead not showing up and collecting her? Or why would he let her get away so easily without doing absolutely nothing?
I kind of got the feeling that he wanted her to lead him to the
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
yeah
like
the dead.
like Kirsty to Frank.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind having an interview if Tim Day would come on the podcast. Ask him some questions about these, sequels.
Oh yeah.
So is that the same knife that she gets stabbed with?
I don't think so.
It's just really similar.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, as a prop, probably.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's, I don't know, if there's supposed to be something to that.
I just think it was multi-purpose knife. This knife is going to be in this scene, and that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any more dogs that are going to show up here?
I don't
Maybe.
think so.
I can't remember.
And everything has to be in slow motion.
Yeah, and black and white.
I mean, the black and white photography is pretty cool, but it's just like I said.
Well, it's weird. It's kind of lame when it's used as a flashback mechanism to say, well, you know, back then everything was in black and white. Just because we had black and white movies and TV and stuff.
If this was part of a better written out sequence, it would have been more interesting to see. But as it is, it's like inside a certain kind of like, it's like a dream sequence, and then she's like having a flashback in a dream sequence, and then she's bleeding for some reason, but you know, we don't know exactly why, and it just becomes a weird, confusing segment. Regardless of how well she acts in it. It's just a weird part. Oh, here we go. Now she woke up. She's back in the bed with the debtors.
Back with the same clothes on.
Yeah. So they want her to kill herself to become one of them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so wait, she hasn't been stabbed now? This is like
20 minutes
the part
of
that
nonsense.
this is the part that kind of makes you mad.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was really getting mad. Yeah. Good word. I just got mad at the movie.
Oh, I'm going to get mad at something really, really soon, because she's going to pretend like she's going to stab herself. Hey, Amy, you got that fucked up, destructive thing going on.
Yeah.
The original script had a much different ending than this movie. I think I can talk about it because it's not a spoiler. I think very few people are going to be able to find that first script and read it anyway. So
or be motivated to.
After, of course, there's no Cenobites, and it's a different kind of like story. But at the end, when Charles is in his office, he gets like the secretary says, "Oh, it's Amy Klein. She's back from Bucharest or whatever." And Amy Klein comes in wearing sunglasses, and then when she takes them off, she doesn't have any eyes. She only has like these black holes. And then she just starts reciting the same thing that Katya said, like, my eyes aren't real, my face isn't real, my blood, my veins aren't real. And it's kind of like she became a part of the debtors now. So she's there to freak out Charles, I guess. Okay, we knew that this was coming, so.
Yeah.
And she throws the box. And I know that she opened the box already in her hotel room. It's like, since when is throwing the box something that makes the box open itself?
Yeah, well, the floor did it. The floor is opening the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
It hit all the right spots in the box.
Yep.
So here comes the part I was talking about where the lightning summons.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a throwback for the first
like
one.
that. And the little pillars around,
Yeah.
They're standing around. It looks like Labyrinth.
Very well framed shot. Oh, man, that's so cool. That's a great entrance.
Yeah, I like that.
This is Chatter, Little Sister, and I think this was one of the movies where they started applying the same costume to all the Cenobites just to save money.
Yeah.
So the Chatter is wearing Pinhead's top, and then the bottom is just biker boots, leather pants and biker boots. Because I saw the original outfit for sale on the prop site. And basically, it's just a pair of leather pants and some biker boots.
There was another Cenobite that was supposed to be in this thing called Spike.
Right. He had a big spike through his face.
It was a cool image, and I don't know why they cut it.
Yeah. But even if he was there, you would only see him for like 2 seconds anyway.
Yeah,
Spike was a later incarnation of a Cenobite called Stilt. It would have been someone walking on stilts, like with like their arms and legs holding stilts and walking, and then there would be like these bags hanging over them, with like blood and urine. I think just
These
it would have been
chains
weird.
are huge again too. They're like boat anchor chains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
I
like
thought
this.
the chains were really over the top.
I like this chaining scene. I think it's one of the best in the whole
Yeah.
series. It's even better than when Frank gets skinned in Hellraiser 1.
The way they explode through the stone wall.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah,
It
you
looks
can
really
really you can kind of
definitely it's
you
very
could-
visceral.
yeah, you can feel it.
I like the
Oh,
fact
man.
that he's got a hook going through his cheek. It's a good,
Yeah, no, it's
nice
really
touch.
pulling the skin there.
And Paul Reese does a good
I wish we
job.
would have got more devices, like in the first film, where like it was like this saw or something that was going up Frank's back. You know what I'm referring to?
It seems to me like that thing is kind of the same thing that appears in Hellworld at the end when
Yeah,
the blade on the chain.
yeah.
That's a little hokey, but
Yeah, the
I'll
line.
give it a pass.
Pinhead.
Yeah, Pinhead gets too angry. I don't like him when he has all this emotion.
In his face.
Yeah.
'Cause he makes a really bad face here in a little bit.
Hey, here's the.
You actually used the
convenient,
image from this scene, and you put me in the scene for the fundraiser, Jose.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That was funny.
This is hokey.
Yeah, that's like the chain is
It's like,
like a
yeah, I don't have time to kill all of you one at a time, so.
And I hate this line, by
I like Joey.
I like the character, but
Yeah. He's like,
Come
for fuck's sake. Boom. I just didn't like the fact that the chains go through the back wall and just disappear. It's like, so what? Those chains just are in the street now, or what?
yeah.
This is kind of like the ending of Hellraiser, where she led them to win to the bad guy, and now they're going to go after her now that they're all done with him.
Spike was
100%.
originally supposed to show up when these other Cenobites were showing up.
Yeah, like Bound, now Bound as a
Bound.
male Cenobite. In
Yeah.
I think it was Hellseeker. Bound appeared as a big, large female. In this
Yeah.
one, it's a guy.
Oh, he did say your father is with me.
Ah. Maybe it's kind of like a reflection on Kirsty and her dad, Amy and her dad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Marla really has no need to have that last line. There's no
No.
way back but through him.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, I think what she's trying to say is that if she kills herself, nobody else is going to bring her back to life because Winter is dead. Winter is the only guy who had the power to bring her back to life.
Yeah.
But then Pinhead says there's no way back but through me, and I just don't understand why they're putting that line in Pinhead's mouth at this point.
He also had a lot of time to stop her, and if she stabs herself in the stomach, then she's not going to die right away.
And again, the
So
box is
he could still have her.
itself.
Well, yeah, that's the floor again. The floor is doing it.
Yeah.
See that face right there by Pinhead? I did.
Yeah. Yeah, why does he care so much?
Again, slow motion.
I expected her to like flip him off here.
Oh,
I always
no.
felt
getting
like
rid of
he was this sort of centuries old character that has a job to do but doesn't really care about it that much.
And this is so cliche. The person falls back and she symbolic, of Christ.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the arms.
That's so used so many times in movies. I mean, I get it, but it's just overused.
So it's like she cheated Pinhead by killing herself before Pinhead could take her. But
Yeah, and why
from
does he have to?
But from what we've seen in multiple movies, it's like that Pinhead would never let someone kill themselves, especially that slow when she does it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, he had lots of time to stop her.
not to mention why does the house explode? Why does the box make the whole building explode?
Yeah.
But I'm always open to new additions to the mythology. But I just think that it's weird.
And he sees news in Romania about a house exploding on his TV at his office in London.
Yeah. There's no way that would have made it to the news
I know.
in London.
I just don't know.
And he's like, oh, well. Yeah, but the Cenobites, they look like they don't really do much apart from Pinhead. Only Little Sister is actually shown doing anything Cenobite-like.
Yeah.
Suing a throat.
Their job is to stand there and let Pinhead do all the work.
And this ending, it was supposed to be Amy Klein coming back, like I said. It's just that she would be a debtor. Like you said, like a Mephistopheles, he's like, well, I want to show you something. I want to show you a tape. So he's going to put this girl, this poor journalist, back on the trail of the debtors.
Yeah.
Which by this point are all dead, but you know.
Yeah, and he didn't even get a real story out of it because she didn't come back to report anything.
Right.
So
It's kind of a sappy ending.
Yeah, it is. It's overused to try to say like, okay, now the cycle's starting all over again. It feels forced, like a lot of stuff in this movie.
Well, I like that. I liked her a lot in it, and I liked the visual style. I think Rick Boda, got to play a bit more with that.
Yeah.
The way he wanted to shoot the film.
Oh, there's Spike Cenobite. He's even in the credits.
They must have cut him out at the last second then.
Yeah.
It's strange to cut him out.
I just, why does Pinhead say to Winter that it looks like evil does run in the family? I think it's supposed to be a bloodline reference to the bloodline of Le Marchand.
I think they were trying to kind of Tim Day was trying to kind of make a connection between bloodline and.
Well, in the history of the movies, it doesn't make sense because none of the Le Marchands were evil.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes sense in the comic books.
Ha! And I got another one in my notes. Minor peeve, but Cheddar does not chatter anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't. He didn't chatter at all. You didn't even hear him chatter.
Yeah, they didn't focus on him long enough to even.
Yep. The whole pleasure angle at this point in the Hellraiser series has been completely overlooked. They just mentioned pleasure once in the movie, and none of that is shown under the Cenobite's influence. The chains are just there to torture Winter. At least Frank seemed to enjoy his chaining a lot more,
Hey, this music now is sort of more Hellraiser-like.
Yeah, that's the theme I really enjoyed.
Yeah, sounds like Hellbound.
Also, did you guys notice that the box had a new music in this movie?
Yeah, I did when I watched it last night. The music box music was different.
Yeah, it had like a chime, like the chimes,
or
bells, kind of.
Maybe they changed it because they had to license. I don't know who came up with the little music box. Maybe it was Christopher Young. So I'm wondering.
Oh, it was, because Max said that he couldn't use that because he needed Christopher Young's permission.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Max from Pyramid Gallery.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's
Hellraiser Deader.
Hellraiser Deader.
Melody Miller was the music supervisor.
I would probably give this, I guess, a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
Maybe a 4.5 out of 10.
Comparing it against.
I've definitely seen. Again, I'm trying to imagine what would I classify as a 5, like middle of the scale. Maybe this movie would be a 5.5 for me. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Yeah, the end of it is so aggravating.
I mean, like the last 20 minutes, the last act, it just pretty much kills it.
Yeah.
If someone just edited out, like the second act, edited.
I don't mind a movie being 60 minutes as long as the story's good.
Yeah. Well, and it's direct-to-video.
Frankenstein's the original Frankenstein's one of my favorite movies. It's only 62 minutes or something like that. Length doesn't matter. It's just, all in the story.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree.
All right.
All right.
Well, that was it. Our next one, we're going to be taking a break from
Break.
Hellraiser movies, and we'll do Saint Sinner.
I've never seen that one, to be honest with you. So
Oh.
I'm looking. I want to watch it and make my own notes.
Yeah. It's strange, also.
But then, hey, Hell on Earth, we're gonna torture ourselves for you because we
Yep.
love you, like you
Yep.
said, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
So thank you very much for joining us for this commentary track.
Enjoy the commentary.
And
Leave us again notes and what you
Yep.
like about the commentaries and
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming up, we have a-
if you have
coming up,
any
we
other
have a-
ideas of things that you'd want us to do, too.
we have another news episode coming up pretty soon, so look forward
Yeah.
to that as well.
we're probably
Yeah.
going to talk a lot about Hellraiser 10 Judgment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. That might end up going into the rotation here before the end of this year
Yeah, I think.
for commentaries.
Yeah, it could.
Okay. Well, another stretch goal done. Thanks to our Kickstarter and all our backers and sponsors, Don Bertram, Celebrate Imagination, and Jordy Calendar. So
All right.
Yes.
thanks,
Thank you.
guys. We'll catch you again on the next episode.
The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This podcast and site are a labor of love by the fans for the fans. News, features, and show notes for this episode can be found at www.clivebarkercast.com. Go to iTunes and please leave us a review. Reviews really help us get the word out about Clive Barker. You can also find us on Podomatic, Xbox Music Store, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Double Twist, BlackBerry, and Pocket Cast. We have a Facebook page, so come on and like our Facebook page and join the Occupy Midian group for lots of discussion about Nightbreed and other Clive Barker stuff. On Twitter, we're at BarkerCast and at Occupy Midian. Opening theme by Mark Buckle.